This is why you suck at Mortis. Watch closely, because every Mortis pro started at the same place as you. But what do they know that we don't? To find out, I gathered 7 expert players and we analyzed the most common mistakes as well as every skill you need to have to take your Mortis gameplay to the next level. This is the ultimate Mortis guide. Mortis is the most picked brawler in the history of Brawl Stars. At max level, he has 7,600 health. His main attack allows him to dash towards any direction until 2,000 damage upon hitting an enemy. His attack range is 3 tiles, but every 4.5 seconds he gains a longer dash. His long dash range is 5 tiles. For his super, he calls a swarm of bats that deal 1800 damage and heal him up for 2250 health. Both his attacks and his super are piercing, meaning they can go through different brawlers at once. His first gadget is called Combo Spinner. With it, Mortis spins his shovel, dealing 2000 damage in a 2 1/3 tile area around him. His second gadget is called Survival Shovel. Mortis takes 2.5 seconds to reload 1 ammo bar, but when you press it, his reload speed doubles for 4 seconds. His first star power is called Creepy Harvest. When it's equipped, Mortis restores 20% of his max health when he gets a kill. The second one is called Coiled Snake, and when it's equipped, Mortis' long dash takes 2 less seconds to charge up, so from 4.5 seconds to 2.5. He is also one of the few brawlers that have a mythic gear, and it allows his super to travel 50% faster. And lastly, his hypercharge is called Blood Boomerang. When hypercharged, Mortis gains a 24% speed, 25% damage, and 5% shield buff. His hypercharged super makes his bats return to him, healing him up as well as damaging the enemy on their way back, hence the name Boomerang. But if you want to fully utilize his power, you need to pick the right ones at the right time. So let's see his best builds. If you're a beginner, his first star bar might help you stay alive more, but Coiled Snake is the better one overall. Pick his first gadget against brawlers with low HP and in passive modes, and the second one everywhere else. His hypercharge is a must because it's super strong. It just takes a while to charge up. And for gears, the mythic one is the best and it combines well with his hypercharge too. For the second slot, the damage is really strong as you heal up more with your super if you're below 50% health. But go with shield if you're facing tougher matchups or if you're playing in passive modes. But what about his best and worst matchups? Mortis is an assassin and his mobility is insane, so he generally does well against brawlers that do not have a lot of health, mobility, or a way to defend themselves up close. These brawlers are typically throwers, snipers, and controllers, but he's terrible against brawlers that have a lot of DPS up close or have ways to stun him or knock him back and thus ruining his combos. These brawlers are usually tanks and anti-tanks, so his best 5 matchups are Dynamite, Mr. P, Sprout, Squeak, and Poco, and his 5 worst ones are Shelly, Bull, Chester, Cordelius, and RT. But just to cover everything, here's a list of all the brawlers and how well Mortis does against them. And lastly, you also need to know what maps and modes suit him better. Mortis can create a lot of pressure and he can change the outcome of the game with his hypercharge. So his best modes are Hot Zone and Gem Grab. You can also play him in Brawl Ball or Bounty and Knockout, but it's riskier and you need to have favorable matchups. You should also pick him in maps that have some walls and bushes for him to hide, but are not completely closed. Some good examples are Hard Rock Mine, Open Business, and Layer Cake. Now that you know everything there is about Mortis, let's analyze the 5 most common mistakes that all noobs make when playing with him. Let's start with the most obvious one. You go on YouTube, you see all these insane Mortis trick shots, and then you try to do the same thing. Let me save you some time. It doesn't work like that. Instead, if you have a goal opening, just score like a normal person. Secondly, just because Mortis is an assassin doesn't mean you should always focus on kills. Sometimes it's just better to focus on the objective, for example dodge shots while staying in the zone for longer when playing Hot Zone. But this third mistake is crucial. Focusing on the wrong matchups can and will ruin your entire game. If the enemy has a Dynamite, a Tick, and a Shelly, you're never winning against that Shelly. So just focus on the 2 other brawlers, which happen to be free matchups for him. Next up, we have another common one. Most players see Mortis as a short-ranged brawler, so they auto-aim all their shots. That's why you see clips of people wasting all their dashes into a wall. Aiming manually with Mortis is key. That way you will actually focus on the right brawlers and stop crashing into walls. Plus, it also ties well with the last mistake, which is rushing in without calculating your moves. You should always visualize where you need to dash and how to use your super before going in to get maximum value. As a result, your combos will be way easier to execute. But now let's talk about some tips and tricks you need to know to fully master Mortis and his playstyle. Cycling your super with Mortis is the most important thing. To get your super, you need 5 dashes. If you hit one enemy with it, you need another 4 to get it back. If you hit 2 enemies, you need 2 more dashes. But if you hit 3, you only need 1 more dash. So hit as many enemies as you can, but don't waste it in only one of them unless it's super necessary. When you press your super, you have a small window to identify how many enemies it's going to hit. This can help you decide what combos you should use. If it hits 3 brawlers, hit 1 dash and use your super again. If it hits 2 of them, hit 2 dashes and use it again. But if it hits only 1, it's best to press your gadget to either back down or try finishing the kill. Also, when using your super, you shouldn't aim to the player that is in front of you. You're guaranteed to hit them if you're on top of them. Instead, look at the other brawlers you want to hit. This will make it so much easier for you to hit them all at the same time. But you can also calculate how many dashes you can use before going in just to reach the enemy. This depends on how the enemies are aligned. For example, if they're all in a straight line, this means you can hit them all with your super, which then means you only need 1 dash to get it back. So even if you waste 2 dashes to get to them, it's still worth it. But if you see only 2 people aligned, either use your gadget and then some dashes to reach them, or sneak up on them from a bush to hit them directly and not waste your ammo. When 2 enemies are super close to each other, you can dash through both. This can help you charge up your super faster. And in case you hit both of them with your super previously, this will recharge it instantly. Now if you have the second gadget equipped, use it at the start of the match right before going in. That way, even if you die, you still get more hits that count towards your super and you can cycle your gadgets effectively. But keeping your gadget for later on is also a viable strategy, especially in more passive modes. A good trick to know is to use 2 dashes to go in and out quickly and charge up 2/5 of your super. Plus, you can bait the enemy's abilities, for example a Shelly super. Now when using your hypercharge, try aligning 2 brawlers from a distance with it. That way your super gets recharged. And that's why the mythic gear is super helpful. The bats return faster, so it's easier to hit all of them on the way back. If you can't use it to 2 of them, 1 of them is still good, as you only need 2 more dashes to cycle to your next super. But as a general rule, try not being on top of an enemy when using your hypercharge. If you are, you might overshoot your dash and the bats won't hit the enemy again when they return. This leaves you with 4 more dashes to cycle to another super, basically wasting your hypercharge. So let your hypercharge super return and then dash through the enemy. But if you notice that the enemy is close to the edge of the map, use them to your advantage to make the bats return faster to you. We almost covered everything, but you're also gonna need these 2 tricks if you wanna play Brawl Ball. First up, the dash pass. You just pass and dash to catch the ball. You can still do it with higher ping. Now the super pass is more complicated. You pass with your super and then use your long dash to catch the ball. This one is harder to do with higher ping though. You can also combine them to cover an insane amount of distance in a short period of time. But if you want the ball to travel further, just wait a little bit after passing it. This way you won't catch it on purpose and you'll need another 1 or 2 dashes to reach it, increasing its traveling distance. The good news is that it works with both tricks. These 2 tricks are the most practical ones. You won't be needing any other tricks for the most part, but feel free to experiment with more complicated ones once you master these 2. But I have to warn you, your randoms will be super mad if you mess things up. Now if this video helped you, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to keep making these guides, so thank you. Also, send a friend request to your bad Mortis randoms and tell them to check this video out to finally become better. And with that, I think you'll like this video too. So hopefully I'll see you there.